Welcome to NYNJPA Weather. I'm meteorologist Stephen DiMartino, here to take you through all the wacky weather that impacts the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan areas. So let's see what's going on out there. In our episode of NYNJPA Weather, we have a significant ice storm that will be impacting a lot of the interior forecast area. So let's dive into this and look at what we are having set up here. This is at Thursday night, 7 p.m. This is a 500 millibar map via the 12Z GFS. I wanted to point this out as to why this storm is not a coastal storm and instead is going to be able to run up the Ohio Valley and up towards the interior into central Hudson Valley. Basically, the big player here is the vortex that's all the way up in northern Canada. Notice that 486 decameter low. That low pressure system, that deep vortex over northern Canada, completely skews the entire pattern, the entire northern jet, in respect to the development of the negative NAO. Now you have a very impressive ridge over Greenland. You have a very impressive trough over Quebec and parts of the Canadian Maritimes. However, the focusing mechanism, the driving force of this pattern is the polar vortex, and as a result, everything with this block breaks down much faster and moves much further east than what's expected. However, I wanted to show you a very important feature here. I have it circled in red, which is the confluence and convergence to the north of New England, basically over southeastern Ontario and southwestern Quebec. And that's going to be important because that's going to support high pressure to build in and set up the cold air mass that's going to be needed for this storm. Looking a little bit further on to Friday morning, this is about 7 a.m. Again, notice that the main player here is the vortex over northern Canada, and it's far enough away not to have a direct impact on our forecast, obviously, but the indirect impact is forcing everything further to the east. And notice that our storm, that strong closed 500 millibar low that's going to be moving through the Ohio Valley, is kind of pulled by this vortex. It's allowed to move into the St. Lawrence River Valley and up towards the eastern Great Lakes because the blocking mechanism of the negative NAO is falling apart too quickly and being pushed to the east. Also notice where I circled in red once again that our convergence and confluence is focused more towards the Canadian Maritimes, and guess where our surface high pressure system is going to be going by 7 a.m. Friday. So when we look at 700 millibars, I mean, it's obvious this storm's going to have plenty of moisture. It's going to have a pull from the Atlantic and from the Gulf of Mexico. There's a strong southwesterly flow aloft at 700 millibars, bringing in plenty of moisture into the region. The same thing can be seen at 850 millibars on Friday morning. We have strong warm air advection driving into the northern mid-Atlantic. You have a low-level jet anywhere from about 35 to 40 knots. Some locations as high as a 50-knot low-level jet. So there's not going to be much to stop the warm air advection at 850 millibars. So what's going to allow us the ice event? Well, here's a surface map via the GFS once again at 1 a.m. on Friday morning. Notice the high pressure center that's going to be centered over Maine. And also notice there's a bit of a kink going down the coastal plain here. Now, when we zoom in for the same time period, I circled and made notice of a few things. One, notice the arrow here, the blue arrow. It shows that cold air is driving to the south. We have winds basically coming in from the east-northeast and northeast over the interior. Also notice that we have our freezing line, which is why I circled this area, basically running from north central New Jersey around Trenton, cutting down towards Baltimore, as we have our storm driving up through Tennessee and Kentucky and eventually moving up towards southern Ohio and then through eastern Pennsylvania and New York. So we have the cold air that's going to be in place, and again, Notice the strong cading effect along the coastal plain that allows the setup for ice to develop. And then, as we head towards Friday morning, once again, our high pressure is leaving, but I made a line here, a pink line, cutting down through southern New England and cutting down towards northern New Jersey, basically showing the cading effect in the kink in the isobars here is still present, although it's obviously giving way. You have your strong easterly fetch at the surface along the coast, so this is obviously a rainstorm, there's no doubt about that. However, it's pretty clear, especially when you look at the 2-meter temperatures, that a cade will be in effect, cold air damming will be in effect, and you're going to have temperatures below freezing, just waiting for all this moisture and the warm air to produce a nice ice event and most likely freezing rain. So when we look at the forecast, this is basically the timing chart that I have for the ice event. At 8 a.m. I expect the freezing line to be over northern New Jersey, parts of northeastern Pennsylvania, and up towards the Connecticut River Valley. By 10 a.m. it's over northern Pennsylvania, coming up through basically bisecting Sussex County, through parts of the central Hudson County and then up towards the northern portions of Connecticut. And then by 12 noon, most of the area will be above freezing. Everyone will change over to rain, and it will be a heavy rain at that, with 1 to 2 inches of rain expected. As far as the ice map, here's what I'm expecting. Once again, about a trace to 1/10 of an inch of ice over portions of northeastern Pennsylvania, the southern parts of north central New Jersey, and basically around White Plains. About 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of ice a little bit further north. Northern New Jersey could get a nice little ice event out of this. A lot of freezing rain will be possible between the hours of 8 and 9 a.m. And then further to the north over northeastern Pennsylvania, the majority of the Hudson Valley, and northwestern Connecticut, this is going to look like a major ice event with as much as a 1/2 inch ice possible. This isn't going to be snow. This is definitely showing up on the SKU-T charts as freezing rain and sleet. And it too will eventually change over, but by the time it does, the damage will be done. So that's the forecast for now. I'll keep you updated and let you know if anything should change. Have a good day.